We'll call a special meeting of the Village Board of Trustees to order. It's 7:33-ish. Starting the agenda, we have some employee rehires, mostly the beautification department. I think all in the beautification department. These folks were here last year and they're gracious enough to join us with their presence this year. $16 an hour, what they were paid last year is what they're paid this year. No change in that. I'll take a motion to approve.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Jose. All those in favor say aye. Opposed say nay. Mayor votes
I didn't see who.
Okay.
Okay, I was like, I couldn't tell.
aye. I thought it was.
Okay.
I thought it was
Gonna
John.
roll back the video.
Okay, so we've budgeted for a new Ford Escape to replace, well, basically to give Keith a new vehicle. Keith's vehicle will go to Bobby and Dan Elkins to drive around to replace meters and fix meters and such. That one older Escape, I think it's 2004 or 5, the one with the black tailgate.
Multiple
colors.
Body panels.
Yeah, so that's we're gonna
using the gator.
we've passed our useful life on that one. So the bids were submitted, and we jumped on a little earlier than we planned because the county had the purchasing agent let us know that they were purchasing a vehicle. So we'll save a little bit of money. It's coming from a local dealership in Comstock, Auto Saver Ford. Evidently it ticks all the boxes as far as what we need for specs, and we just need approval to pull the trigger on this.
We approve the purchase.
Okay, motion by trustee Root. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by trustee Joe. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Mayor votes aye. Yes, it's state contract's amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing.
The audit revision approval, we had some trouble with our check printer. We printed a batch of checks that were incorrect. So this just basically cancels those transactions, voids and replaces with the correct checks. And then there was this stipulation of about $255 that was voided, and I don't know if it was cashed or it had to be reappropriated, but it's
It was replaced with another check.
replaced with another check.
Mhm.
So that was just a clerical error, but we have to make that public. So the check numeration is not out of whack.
Mhm.
So do we need an approval for that motion?
Well, yeah, just like you do,
Okay,
so as you've seen it done.
so I'll make that motion to approve the check remuneration and cancel some replacements. Is there a second?
I'll second that also.
Second by trustee Joe. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion's carried. Mayor votes aye. Okay, the assistant to the director of special events. It's come to my attention, we talked about this. This position kind of already exists and we're not paying for it. I've been approached by two office staff saying if we're going to create a position, naming that both of them would be interested in it. They do all of the paperwork. The former mayor is really the phone guy, the mouthpiece and the face. Should we go to replace the director of special events? I would volunteer to shadow him and then be the assistant, unpaid. But when it comes time to replace the director of special events, I would train that individual. And I would do that without charging the village. So I would shadow Bob throughout his daily tasks, which are basically completed today or completed for the season. But I would go and assist with the oversight of employees with setup and takedown of events. And I would do that with no charge. And then I would train the new director of special events if it comes to pass that I desire to do that, I will interview for the position and would put my hat in the ring and not vote on it. But I don't think we should pay another person to do what I want to learn every job in the village. So I want to do some cross training with the ladies in the office so I can learn the, what is it? KVS, our system of tracking billing and stuff. I'm gonna learn that. We got a new computer, it's being put together now by our IT guy. I want to learn every job in the village so I can train anyone to do anything. So I think I'm offering, and I'll let the board discuss.
Well, I mean, everything this year is already set. I mean, you know, bring someone else in and pay someone else to, you know, if you're willing to pay someone else to learn possibly a future position, you're willing to step up and, you know, shadow the mayor and find the communication, the bases that go along with the company names and stuff like that.
I should know them.
I'm all for that. You know, anything that's gonna, you know, brighten the future of the village and keep us in the mix of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody, everything I know, you will know. Okay, I'll there's a phone call away.
Just for clarity, so, 2 office people, they're gonna continue to do paperwork
Yes.
side of it. Okay, yeah, I think the most important thing that, Bob Blaze has is speak a mouthpiece, the best part about it. But I know that we did say before that we know it's not an empty position and that Bobby time and or you know, maybe has other interests, are gonna bound in free, okay. Good, I like that. So you're basically just learning the job that he's doing. Either you're gonna pass it forward to someone else or interview for that position, and the clerical side of it, not the phone side, will go stay with the office.
Yeah, it's already being done in-house
Yeah,
for no extra charge.
and so then we get to save that 30 grand or so. That we would have spent.
Yeah, we would have, yeah, we would save what we were talking about paying this assistant. Which kind of this job description, aside from the assist with setup and takedown, is basically being done by 2 people, 1 part-time employee and 1 full-time employee.
I think a big part of the job now is how he is seeing how he sets up for 2024. And this thing is 2023, literally we're around the corner. That's gonna be the meat and potatoes of these guys.
A lot of these events are recurring events. Ladies in the office have built a rapport with the people who organize the events. They handle the paperwork. Some, you know, I don't want to say it's autonomous, but a lot of it is autonomous. You know, the Americade does change every year. A lot of times you as trustees don't have the visibility to the meetings or the changes, and I want to move forward assuring you all that you do. Like when Americade takes Beach Road parking lot, or when we closed the street, remember that year I didn't like it? We all spoke about it afterward. They closed the section of street that we could for Oktoberfest for Americade. Then they had a skunk bike going around. It was less than safe. And I think with the 5 of us having visibility to it, we can prevent those types of, have a good day at school. Thank you. Those types of events from, you know, having the poor taste in our mouth. And I think, an open line of communication on my part is key to us moving forward and feeling comfortable with things.
The 2 candidates we had before, Alex Gary and Roger Allen, so they're still in the mix.
They are. They actually, at least each of them when they left said, I really just want to be on your radar for when that position becomes available. And they, you know, if they're still around, they're still around. They're both good candidates. Yes, I believe in mine.
What I like about this option is one, saving the ability to use it elsewhere, but then also putting us in Kane as a transition plan for the next special events director. And by hiring an assistant, I think we run the risk of that person not wanting to do it the next year. And so then we train them and then we're able to for the next year. So it would be a good idea to have some year for 4 years to train if we have to recycle special events directors. I think that's smart.
Well, I go back to Jose's original statement, which was he thought that the mayor should govern, not play party and sub beer. So, and I've also heard that during one of the meetings with the chamber, the board of directors, the county, they get involved in a lot of things that don't necessarily have their expertise. Like, I don't know if anybody in this building has gone to school for event planning, or it's actually college education you go for it. So that is something that's very important, and that's a special schooling and skill for that. And to add that on top of the mayor's job of governing, running events, it'd be something that should have been done by a professional. It's a professional job. That's not something that you just do on the side and pick up, people, they do the research, they find out what's good going around the country, and they bring those kind of festivals, events in.
See, go ahead, Jose.
No, I guess, I agree. So when I made the statement, and John, you're absolutely right, because I saw there was a lot of frustration from village people and government and total with that, the way it was ran before. What I'm looking at, and I do agree with that, that's why I made that statement, because I thought we had more important things to do in this town. We do, I see the docket here. What I'm reading here and what we're explaining for this year, it's for an assistant. You're basically gonna act as a sponge. He's gonna be a tool for absorption. I'm a visual speaker. And then so if the next person comes along, we have the information. I never want to speak gravely, but I always think about what would happen if we didn't have the former mayor to give us the information. So in this role for this vote, as far as assistant, I use the term assistant as my human sponge. Take it all in to learn it. And then take that all in to learn it, as you said, it's also to teach and train. I don't think that in the assistant role, he will be handing out your, you know what I'm saying, John? He's that buffer piece, to absorb and learn, because right now, if we take an outside source to become that buffer piece, they don't understand the umpteen years as in the village, government system, how the parks work and so on. So it's easier for him to learn it, to teach it, in the future down the line. And that's kind of what because I hear what you're saying. If we were voting today for a director of special events, I would totally make that statement with you. Because I've had conversations in the past, but today the votes are assistant to director, and again, the sponge to the director. And I don't think we have a better sponge than you could be a sponge. I mean, because you have that experience also, but that's what I'm saying is that right now in the position he is with his experience, he makes the best assistant to that as far as learn it, teach it. And I think the two people in the office, that's excellent that we have that experience. You can absorb some more of that also. I no doubt your plate is full, but your plate will be even fuller if you don't get these events correct. And in the middle of the summer, you're getting 100 phone calls a day. So I think that it's a lot of work to do, but you've proven you're going to be a good sponge. You have to learn it.
Right.
And if you want to hire someone for it, we have to know what we're hiring someone for to get what I'm saying.
But there's also the issue of oversight. So if this is all done within one group, there's no outside eyes, ears on what's going on, and maybe someone that isn't part of this process for so many years.
You're the oversight. The village board is the oversight, and I'm pledging a commitment of transparency and communication to you. I don't see, for the 3 weeks that I've been mayor, the first week was extremely busy, and I thought at times, what did I get myself into? The second week, sort of busy, still a lot of calls, a lot of interviews, a lot of meetings with people to, to congratulate you, take up a lot of your time. I had one yesterday. The mayor of the city of Little Falls came, loves Lake George, wanted to sit with me, spend an hour with the man. Those are dwindling, those types of meetings. I have the capacity for this. It's all planned for the year. I believe that if we hire someone as an assistant, it is the belief that that person is going to take the job when the former mayor decides to fully retire. So I don't want to set that expectation. I would rather learn the job so I could train the next person. And it might not be me. I'm not saying it's going to be me, but I think I should learn the job. I think it shouldn't be farmed out. I think it should be done in-house, and the paperwork and the organization is done. A majority of it is done in-house already. The people who are planning the events that happen, like Americade, have professionals like Christian Dutcher. The car show has professionals like Albany Rod and Customs. They're the ones that do the planning. We just okay it. So it's not like I'm planning events or planning a Renaissance fair. Someone's going to come to us that wants to do a Renaissance fair that knows how to do Renaissance fairs. So it's the piece of the village government that is the spokesperson for the village, and I think that should be the mayor.
And so maybe my problem happened in the past is that things would be, like I said before, things would end up in the paper. This event is coming, and it doesn't even come before the board for any kind of discussion prior to that.
Not with me. I've said that before to you, John. I know you have a distrust, but not with me.
I would definitely like some, I don't want to say the word like extreme oversight. My concern with the special events is the amount of like cost to the residents that they might create, especially if we're like starting to think about like sewer and the amount of sewer that this village gets created, especially in the summertime with the tourism. That's what I keep thinking about special events, is like how much like that can create a problem for the residents. And so like oversight, like I really do want like these monthly reports to say like how much these events are creating like money for the village. Just because if we don't know that, then we need to really think about what's the purpose of these events. If they're just a burden on the village residents, like if we're just bringing in tourism and then taxes are going up because of the burden of the event. So that's my main concern. And as the assistant director of special events or the sponge, like I'm hoping that you will come up with a system that when you come to us, you can say this event was profitable. And this is how much sewage, and I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, was created at this event, you know.
Let's do water usage.
Water
And
usage,
we
yeah.
can tell, and we do this on a seasonal basis.
Yeah.
We can tell by the flows how much, how successful the season was.
Yeah.
In the individual events is hard to quantify, but there are ways, and we'll figure it out. I think a lot of it is feedback. It's usually post-event feedback, post-event meter usage, water usage.
Yeah.
Water and sewer go hand in
Really,
hand.
yeah. Well, I mean, but really kind of hard to judge water, because a lot of the events are outside. One thing is toilet flushing, not gonna,
True.
There's the
You know, you
public
can't tell.
restrooms.
well, that's what I'm saying, the toilet's flushing in the bed,
And meter,
you know,
Water.
but, you know.
I mean, no,
residents,
parking
it's-
meters is another one. Sales tax, we're not gonna get, that's quarterly, and we can't ask
It's based
the
on
businesses,
businesses.
you know, we can't ask them for it, but
And-
occupancy tax, post haste, we can tell. We'll look, at a chart. I think the best way to do it is look at a chart of flows in the summer. If you
Which
look
we
back,
get anyway
say,
every
hey,
month.
this was a busy time, we had this event, so I would deem it successful. But I don't think it's gonna be immediately after the event. I think it's more of a post haste review, and then say, well, you know what, that event was a bummer. It didn't really draw as many people, but you take into consideration, did it rain? Was it an outside event? So a lot of these factors will be looked at, and I think in the reports, how the current director, reflects that, is best to be given guidance by us.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying is I feel like the way that I can agree to you being the sponge is at least you knowing that I'm not saying that I'm gonna be a thorn in your side, but I want to be there saying, okay, like, let's figure out objectively how to figure this out, because I don't want the events to be a burden to the village residents. And like, that's my biggest concern. And that's why I like this system, so that we can figure it out.
Also, besides the financial component, there's also the quality of life.
Sure,
Like,
and,
I'm
and
not into burnouts.
nobody likes what comes along with the car show,
So-
myself included, and we're working on a meeting with the sheriff's department and some of the businesses just to work on the cruise. We know what happens when the cruise goes on, and we know the route
Cruise is
is,
fine.
cruise is fine. Those are
What happens at the Fort William Henry is fine. It's that.
Unsanctioned.
it's the unsanctioned attendance of the car show
And I
that,
have a solution.
well, I want you to attend the meeting with me then, with the sheriff's department. I'll schedule it in the near future. There's a
On a
few
Monday.
business owners. I'm gonna try for a Monday, but you might have to take time off from work. This 7:30 nonsense is not happening again. We have a special meeting. You can either not attend or you can miss work. And forcing everybody, Julie lives 45 minutes away. She had to get up an extra hour earlier to come here. And you-
As long as it doesn't happen every week.
I don't mind 7:30.
I could have had a Monday. I don't know. I could have waited till Monday.
You want to do it this week?
I said the sooner the better.
Okay.
The
Well,
Monday was my fault, because I was.
He can't be here.
I was eight.
Ray's trying to make it accommodating for everyone, to make
Yeah.
it mean that it's a new.
I don't like
New
being here
board.
either, but sometimes we have to get things done.
As I think the 15th is the first day that I start working 8 to 3 on Mondays. So if Mondays work for everybody and.
we can do an afternoon,
Yeah.
3:30, 4 o'clock meeting or something like that. That's no issue to anyone, as long as we can come up with a day. This side of the table is good on Mondays, and now I'm seeing that you're gonna be good on.
15th Or 3 p.m.
All right, well, we shouldn't have, special meeting before then, unless something else comes up, but, so, does somebody want to make a motion to either table the discussion or assume that the mayor is the assistant to the director of special, I wouldn't want to call it that.
So you will be the assistant.
I don't want to call it that. I'm not going to give it a title.
Village liaison tonight.
Yeah, direct liaison to, which is basically described in his job title.
Okay, well, then I'll go along with that. I don't know if we need a vote on it. or
I
anything
don't
like that,
think we do. I mean, it's not a resolution, really.
It's not paid. so
It's not paid,
Yeah, it's not.
Not even a title.
So you will be accessible on Mondays so that you and I can meet periodically. and-
I've said in the past, we should meet at least once a month. Sometimes twice a month, I think, it, with each of you. I want
Bother
to.
him all
We're talking a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
It bothers him, so.
That's amazing.
But I appreciate it because it shows you care. You know, if you don't hear from somebody for a month and you only see them at the meetings, it's disconcerting because it shows that they're not putting the time in, and you guys are all putting the time in, so I appreciate it. So on to the next discussion of the farmer's market. Lawrence?
No, I mean, I don't think we're speaking.
Oh, okay. John Root sent an email saying, he believes that any vendor that participated in last year's farmer's market is automatically eligible for this year's farmer's market. And I would care to discuss that in an executive session. Because I don't want anything to come out of anyone's mouth that can put us at risk for a potential lawsuit. So I'll take a motion to go into executive session. Second, second, we can pause the recording. What you folks can do is you have to leave the room. We're not gonna take
Can I say
it.
something real quick?
Sure.
So on the farmer's market, John, when I do shows, I mean, if you want experience, I've been doing shows, farm festivals for 12 years and probably over 1,000 events across the country. We also do this in Florida, California, Arizona, South Carolina, New York, New Jersey. And when we get a authorization, when we want to bid or contract to do an event, we are authorized to make decisions. So we base it also on last year's performance. So we're not going to approve a vendor just because they were last year. When we do Dutchess County Fair, which is a fair that's been there for 175 years, we have to meet a certain criteria, and we don't meet that criteria, they don't care who we are and how much revenue, because we pay them back 18% on how much revenue we pay them. We have to adhere to Deb Ashman's rules, and that's it. So when we have vendors from last year that we go through, and I'm getting attacked personally for that on hearsay, which is I'm past it. And I have a contract, I'm paying $8,000 from $1,500 that he paid. He doesn't like that, number one, paying $8,000, bringing more money to the village for a farmers market that I thought should be beneficial because you're blocking meters in the street and you're paying extra people. That's why I'm paying for the $8,000. Sure.
Good. Oh, it probably timed out on you.
Anyway, sorry about that.
How cold is it? That's almost 50. That'd be nice.
I would have been riding my bike.
We're following Ryan around the golf.
How's it going?
He is better.
Okay.
Uh,
That's the right direction.
Vincent, how are you?
Frozen, but I'm all
Sorry.
right. It's all good.
Just put the car down.
It's all good.
Put some socks on.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
We're not taking any action, but we do want to know if you were willing to sign a code of conduct that we have yet to draft up. We don't have one for vendors. We're gonna create one, and we'd like to have that forwarded to all of the vendors that you've worked with in the farmer's market.
Yeah, what do you mean, code of conduct?
Code of conduct, just like, yeah, just to protect us, to protect you. You might have something that you have them sign with you. We don't, like, just like things you shouldn't do, things you correct path to launch a complaint,
Of course.
anything like that, come, directly.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so that, we don't have it. We're trying to sharpen things up around here.
I think my office thing.
Maybe I didn't get it. But we'll take it and we'll craft one.
Yeah.
Allison's gonna start working on one for us, to use moving forward. And that's.
Yeah, again, is that on?
Yeah.
So, I was under attack by this particular person, and Kayla, Hannah, and Stephanie theoretically run the markets, but they don't have a voice as loud as I do, because I get a little angry at the person that was attacking me, and he attacked me first.
Yeah, well, that individual won't be in the market this year, so we have a year to figure out how to make this market better.
Well, it is one of the best.
Yeah.
markets.
And we're gonna see.
In all events in general, better too, I think.
Yeah.
This vendor's agreement would cover all of events.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, all the events are pretty on point then.
And again, what Ray just said, is at the end of the day, it protects us as a village.
Close.
Our legitimacy, and also protects you. At the end of the day,
Absolutely. I agree.
I get that term backstop, it does, because you have something to fall back on, and also it gives, a comfort and confidence to your vendors, and that's all you want. Look, it was a bumpy road. We're driving down that road, bumps back there,
Absolutely.
let's move it forward, keep it smooth.
It's in our week.
So if you have a code of conduct, Jeff, you could.
Yeah, we have it.
Forward
I'll
it to
have
us
it.
again,
Yeah.
so we can take a look at it. We might be able to utilize a lot of it, some of it.
Yeah.
And work off of it, since it's, most your vendors already have that, right? You give that code of
Correct.
conduct to your vendors, so that's what we're looking for too, so.
And then they get a vendor packet for the show.
And that's what we're gonna be looking to do.
Right, so when we sign, get the vendor's licenses, because they get a license, $50 license from us every year. There's no code of conduct in our thing, we want the statement to read, I am representing or a face of the village of Lake George, and I should act accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
Okay,
We give them a packet back with the permit they sent us, and we give them, schedule, just whatever they put, they give them to them as the first day, so.
All right,
We used to mail them, but they're almost $5 each in that.
Yeah, and they can always say I never got it.
Yeah, yeah, so, and they sign off again.
All right, we wrapped up here? Does anyone have anything else?
It's,
Since Joe said that's everything, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
unless John has something else.
I'm good.
I have something.
Do you?
No.
Oh. Is that a motion?
I'll do that, okay, I'll do the motion to adjourn, first time ever.
So ordered.
Okay.